guys, today I wanted to make a video about Chelsea's brand new signing Enzo Fernandez, £107 million from Benfica. So obviously a lot of people are questioning, oh well, how on earth are Chelsea affording this? It's become quite clear over the past few weeks or so how they're doing this. Obviously they're getting these players on huge contracts. I think Fernandez is on a similar contract to Madrid in that it's like till 2031, so like 8.5 years, which basically means that Chelsea can sort of pay the fee in instalments effectively. So I think out of the 107 million, they've paid about 30 of it up front, and then the remaining 77 million will be split over the next like eight years, but I think it's being split into 5 payments, so it'll be something like 15 million at a time or something. So yeah, that's how it's being done, and I think, to be fair, it's not actually a bad way of doing business. It's just, if it doesn't work, then Chelsea are going to be in big trouble. It's taken a gamble, but I think it's a calculated gamble, just because there's a very, very good chance that the players like Fernandez, Madrid, Badiashile, like all the players they've signed recently, are going to become very good players and will have a sell-on value. So Chelsea, in theory, should make at least, you know, half of their money back from each of these players at the very worst. So that's what Chelsea are going for. And that means that effectively the average player, so let's say they've got the average player on a 7-year contract, and they've paid 60 million, well that's just under 10 million a season. So if we say 9 million a season, and the rules are that I think you have to make like 70 or 90% of your income or something between that. It's you can only really spend like 10-20% more than you earn. Then in theory they should only be spending 50 million a season on all of these signings over the next few years. So that's not a lot, considering that they should make like a sale at of that price each year. So it is, you know, it's not as astronomical as it seems. That's 100% for sure. But on Enzo Fernandez, will he be a good signing? Right. I think he's a very good player. I don't think anyone doesn't think he's a very good player. But I think 107 million might be a little bit of an overpayment. I don't think it's a huge overpayment. I don't think it's ridiculous. I think a fee of around 70 million or maybe 80 million would have been correct. So it's when you're only paying 25 million more or 30 million more for a player, and it's at that price, that's not too bad, because when you put it into percentages, it's only really like a 30% overpayment, which isn't too bad really. So yeah, he's 22 years old, and so far in his career, in terms of contributions, he is a 1 in 6 goal scorer effectively. That's definitely not his role in the team. He's not a number 10, so he'll probably get maybe 7 or 8 goals a season at most really for Chelsea, which I think would you know, be good for them, considering his role in the team will be a deep lying midfielder, effectively replacing Jorginho in the current setup, I think. Hooper's obviously gone to Arsenal. So yeah, obviously most known recently for the World Cup campaign. He's just had one young player at the tournament as his team won the World Cup, Argentina. That's, you know, a huge achievement, and I don't think they win it without him, because he didn't start the first game. We all know how Argentina's first game went with the 2-1 loss to Saudi Arabia. And from then on, when he was brought in for the following game against Mexico, I think it was, you know, he stayed in the team for the remainder of the tournament. And he even scored in that game against Mexico. So he has proven himself to be a massively important player, and definitely an upgrade on Leandro Paredes in that Argentina midfield. And yeah, I think he fully deserved his young player of the tournament as well. His abilities that I like the most is, so first of all, as I've already said, his role will be a deep sitting playmaker. But the abilities that I've noticed the most are the fact that he breaks up play really well, especially for a not, you know, physically imposing player. Like he's not the tallest, he's not the biggest. He is quite, you know, small compared to most holding midfielders. But that's not really what he is. He's not He's more. He's more a Xabi Alonso than a Patrick Vieira, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, dictates tempo really well, so you know he can help Chelsea to control games, which is something they've really struggled with recently. He's a little bit more athletic than Jorginho as well, which should give Chelsea you know, more energy in midfield. Not that Jorginho's a bad player, it's just he has his limits, which is it's been the problem for him. He has an incredible range of passing, like one of the best in Europe, whether it be short passes or even like 40, 50 yard long passes. His technique and accuracy is incredible. He's very good in tight areas. Again, due to his small frame, he's quite nimble on the ball. He's capable of getting out of sticky situations, dribbling, and you know, I'm not a massive fan of using this phrase, but he is what is known as press resistant. So you know, when you put pressure on him, he most of the time can deal with it. So yeah, that's another thing that you need in the Premier League, because it is the most intense league in the world. And yeah, he basically he's just a complete all rounder in terms of ability, whether it be defensively, possessing the ball, or even in attack. So, and yeah, just to further prove this, I've looked at some of his statistics over the past year or so, and he's in the top 10% of players in his position for non-penalty expected goals, and that's brilliant for someone who isn't an attacking midfielder. Total shots, so he will get shots off, assists, and expected assists, so he's very much a creator. Expected goals and expected assists. I mean, I've said both of them already, so I think that stat sort of goes without saying. I don't know why I wrote it down, to be honest. But shot creating actions as well, so it sets up lots of chances for his teammates, whether they score or not. So it's not just quality, it's also quantity of chances as well, which is, you know, really important. And finally, it's attempted passes, so he will get on that says he will get on the ball a lot and will look to find teammates, as well as progressive passes. So as I said about the range of passing that he has, so progressive passes would mean that he is getting the ball up the pitch as well and getting players into good positions. So yeah, and also he's not going to be one of these players who is the most exciting player to watch instantly. Like he's not gonna, you know, not like when you think of players like Steven Gerrard, Kevin De Bruyne, he's not going to be one of these midfielders that, you know, can win a game all on his own, or, you know, take all the headlines. He's going to be someone who maybe you don't notice so much, but will have a huge impact on games. So that he's not someone who, like say in Chelsea's system they're playing a 3-4-2-1. Say if Cucurella, who usually plays in like a left centre back role for Chelsea, he rarely plays as the wing back. So if he pushes forward a little bit, Fernandez will go and fill that space. So he's very good at covering for players as well. So that's something that will help Chelsea, especially as with Graham Potter's tactics. You know, it is a very fluid system where players have to adapt instantly to what's going on around them. So I think Fernandez will be useful in that sense as well. So yeah, he's likely to be a starter in midfield for Chelsea. I mean, it's very rare you pay the British transfer record fee for a player who isn't going to be a consistent starter, although you could argue Jack Grealish at Man City, he wasn't exactly a starter last season. This season, and especially over the past couple of months, yes, that is the case. He has forced his way into the starting 11 with some really good performances, but it has taken Grealish a bit of time. But I don't think that'll be the case with Fernandez, because Grealish going to Man City, I mean, he was joining a title-winning team and they won the title the year after he joined as well. So you know, it was always going to be tough. He was added as another option really, whereas I think Fernandez has been added as a player who has bags of potential. Still got, you know, the best part of his career ahead of him. And I mean, he was born this century, for Christ's sake. I think he'll 100% be a starter in midfield, and that gives Chelsea a few options with who to start alongside him. You can start someone with, you know, maybe a bit more technique on, not technique on the ball, but like a bit more adventurous, maybe someone like Kovacic, who will look to get on the ball and bring it forward, dribble with the ball, carry it forward. Or you can you could probably go all out defensive and play Dennis Zakaria, and then that would give, you know, the wing backs more license to get forward as well. You can go for energy in players like Conor Gallagher or N'Golo Kante. So it does give Chelsea a few options in the centre of midfield now. I think they have a few options in pretty much any position on the pitch, to be honest. But yeah, I think this is 100% going to be a good signing for Chelsea. I think the price tag, you can say, is a bit questionable, but given that that was the release clause that Benfica had for him, Chelsea were very unlikely to get him for anything cheaper than that, to be honest. So yeah, I do like this signing. I do like the player, and yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see how he does for the remainder of the season in a currently struggling Chelsea team. That's the one thing I should mention. You know, it'll be interesting to see, does this transfer and does the transfers they've made in January, once they all come together, do they make a difference to this Chelsea team? That we will find out starting tomorrow night, actually, against Fulham at home, I believe. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.